The Unwanted Undead Adventurer episode 3. And another great episode. I thought maybe it was going to fall off a little bit, as the episodes went by, just like any normal anime does, because usually anime start really strong but start to fade out as the episodes go by, which again, I think that is normal, nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean it has to fall off a cliff or get really bad or anything like that. But this anime, The Unwanted Undead Adventurer, has actually been pretty fire. These 3 episodes, I have really enjoyed them a lot. There are the types of episodes that makes you want to watch the next episode immediately. You are waiting impatiently throughout the whole week for the next episode to come, and this episode was definitely another one of those. Even though this episode was technically one of story building, of interactions, and not so much action or anything like that, it was still pretty good, which tells you a lot about the episode, because normally the types of episodes people enjoy are the episodes where there's a lot of action, monsters, and things like that. But no, this episode was not that. This episode didn't even have tense moments. It was just your straight run-of-the-mill normal episode. But the thing that made it so great was that everything that it sought out to do did it perfectly. For example, the interactions between Lorraine and Rentt were actually very good. Learning a little bit more about Lorraine's backstory was actually also pretty good. Learning about Rentt's, I guess you can say, inner psychology, how he thinks, how he acts further in this episode was actually also pretty good. So yeah, like I said, everything that the episode did in this episode that it sought out to do was well perfectly executed. So yeah, in this episode we see how Rentt and Lorraine are talking. Lorraine is a little bit shocked to find out that a ghoul is talking to her. She doesn't know the ghoul that she's talking to is actually Rentt or somebody else that maybe just has the memories of Rentt. But if that were the case, then what are we? I guess that is sort of a philosophical question, because if you don't consider that ghoul that has Rentt's memories Rentt, then what exactly is he? Because what makes us us? The memories that we have or something else? Again, I think this is a very deep question that I don't know if the anime was trying to solve or not. I think this is just me overcomplicating things. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see that interaction happening in the middle of the episode, because those little interactions make the episode great. Those little interactions between Lorraine and Rentt, having little discussions, Lorraine herself wondering what is a ghoul, contemplating what Rentt could be, are really great because it adds to the episode. So yeah, and then after that we see how Rentt goes to the blacksmith to get a new sword, because the sword he had was basically at that point unusable. And it was pretty interesting that the blacksmiths were able to really quickly figure out that the person they were talking to was actually Rentt, even though Rentt didn't actually know that. They knew that it was him. I guess you can say it was because certain things he said basically blew his cover. For example, that if they wanted to contact him, they were to do it through Lorraine, and he had, I guess you can say, 3 specialities: spirit, mana, and I don't remember the other one, but yeah, he had 3 special gifts. So yeah, I mean, that was actually pretty nice to see that they figured it out, and pretty nice to see also because they're actually really good people. I thought that they were going to be afraid of him, to shame him or something like that, because I mean, let's be honest, he does look kind of scary. If you saw someone like that walking in the middle of the street, you will actually be at the very least putting a lot of attention to him. It is not the sort of thing that goes unnoticed. You immediately look at him, and yeah, that was basically what the people did in this episode. But actually they did more than that, because not only were they looking, they were actually kind of angry and afraid of him at the same time. It was kind of weird. But yeah, poor Rentt now has to suffer these things, because I mean, he did notice it. So yeah, and the last part of the episode was focused around Rentt trying to existential evolve, or I don't remember what is the name, evolve into a higher being, because he doesn't actually know what exactly he's going to evolve into. Lorraine actually doesn't know either. She actually doesn't know how exactly Rentt got into this form that he has, being an undead, a really special undead, or even special among the special undeads, because he's not your typical undead, he's not your typical ghoul, he's some sort of special kind of creature. I think that the dragon that ate him had something to do with it, or I almost certain that it has something to do with it. And yeah, like I was saying, at the end of the episode he goes again to the labyrinth because he wants to further evolve into something higher than a ghoul, which to be honest I don't know what it is going to be. He meets a person there, and to be honest, at first I thought that Rentt was acting a little bit cold towards him, but thinking about it again, I guess I can see where Rentt is coming from, because although we haven't seen it, you can probably assume that Rentt has had a really tough past. He probably has been used a lot, he probably has been backstabbed a lot, and a lot of bad things have happened to Rentt because of his kindness. But at the end of the day, he was actually really nice to the guy. But yeah, at the beginning I sort of thought that, but I changed my opinion later on. So yeah, the guy that was there apparently has some sort of debt. He was a chef or something like that, so he had to repay his debt by going to the labyrinth and killing some monsters. So yeah, Rentt basically helps him out. They go into the place where the dragon was found, and then they found another place within the place that was hidden inside the labyrinth. And once they go in there, the guy gets teleported to another place with a teletransportation room, teleporting room, whatever you want to call it. And Rentt has to decide if he wants to go in or not, because I mean, logically speaking, if he wants to survive, he wouldn't go into it. But he's not that kind of person. He's actually a really kind person, so of course he goes there to save the other guy, and what he finds in there is a boss room. So I would assume that after having the fight with the giant skeleton, he is going to special evolve and get a lot stronger, very strong indeed. So yeah, there's potential that in the next episode he will evolve into a higher being, which I'm actually pretty curious to see what it is. So yeah, the next episode is going to be one filled with action, unlike this episode, which was more chill, which was more about advancing the plot and things like that. I think the next episode is going to be all the opposite to this episode. You have one episode doing chill things, and you have the next episode doing the action part of it. So I think that is what the next episode is going to do. So yeah, in the next episode we're going to see Rentt battle this giant skeleton. We don't know exactly how strong giant skeletons are. I don't know if he's actually the boss, the giant skeleton, or if there's something else. But I mean, regardless, I think he's going to evolve, or at the very least be very close to evolving. And yeah, we could potentially see, Rentt's swords break or something like that. I don't know if he will be able to get out if his swords break and maybe come back later with the new sword, or if he's stuck in there, having to battle out the giant skeleton until he's defeated. But yeah, that was basically everything important that happened in the episode. Again, a really great episode, one of those episodes that has everything. And yeah, if you don't want to miss the next episode review, please subscribe. And also, if you enjoyed the episode review, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, that will be everything by me, and I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review.